gamification has played its role in investing in the last 2 years. One, what is your thoughts on that? And two, how do you see that being implemented in the wealth management space in Singapore towards long-term investing and wealth accumulation, etc.?
Okay, I want to talk about extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation before we get to the gamification point, right? So, extrinsic motivation is the rewards, and it could also be punishments. For example, I mean, if you don't do homework, you get whacked at school. It could be an extrinsic, motivation to complete your homework, right? So typically when we talk about in business terms, your extrinsic motivation are quote unquote rewards, and the game aspect of it helps to build stickiness when you start off, because you want to play the game, you are interested to get to the next level in the game, and so on and so forth. And hopefully you keep the game makes you do the same things again and again, and you form a habit, right? But ultimately for the habit to sustain, the motivation has to be intrinsic. Yeah. And what I mean by intrinsic is you intrinsically have to be somebody who wants to, I'm talking from a wealth perspective, right? Yeah. Who wants to secure your financial future. Right. The bank or the provider has to provide you products that have that intrinsic value that you see as value, right, as a customer. So while gamification can kind of open the door and maybe lead you a few steps into the house, ultimately if the house is shabby, ultimately if the house is not quote unquote livable, does not have value for you, you're probably going to walk out, right? So that is my take on gamification. Right. It is something that allows businesses to capture customers' attention to start with, but ultimately the customer, you have to deliver value for the customer to stay in your house, live in your house, continue to enjoy living in the house. And like we spoke earlier, things keep changing. Right. The house also needs to keep changing. Right. What is value today may not be value 10 years later, right? And therefore it's important for us to kind of keep track of what customers need, keep track of their changing ambitions, changing needs, changing goals, and pretty much change ourselves to fit into that future.
No, absolutely.